the Cherokee Freemen, the dark skinned ones that got kicked off the reservation.
Yes.
And they had went to court. It took like 2 years, but the judge was saying that these are Cherokees, and you must put them back on the reservation if they choose to go to the reservation, and they must give all full faith. Not full faith. Excuse me. They must be restored, basically. Back to full tribal membership, the whole 9 yards. They were trying to kick them off for money.
Yeah.
And they gotta understand that's not even money. You're not even getting. First of all, you shouldn't be doing that anyway. It's not even real money, But you shouldn't be doing that for quote unquote Federal Reserve notes. They didn't want them to get no benefits, no nothing. And then they come out. Oh, you gotta be 1/4. 1/4 what? I said, how you gonna tell me and my ancestors that we gotta be 1/4 to get benefits?
Case law, Islam is.
I'm like, what? Like, you see, that's another way to discourage you from claiming your ancestry. That's another way to discourage you to being back to I'm African American, and that's two pale face people. Leos could be Africanus and Amerigo Vespucci. So I never knew two gay guys can have children. So when they call you black, all that stuff like that's dead. That's dead at law. You have no rights. One who's lost their civil rights. Color, we're not crayons. I'm like, phew.
And then you take Indian out of the box.
I'm like, yeah. But everything's gonna be restored sooner or later. It's had no choice but to be restored. Everything is off balance. There's no balance right now. Everything's off balance.
There shall be no peace until the Empress is back on her throne.
I say.
Recognized.
I say.
I say what?
And that's coming very, very soon.
Yeah.
Them pilgrims gonna be mad. They better start practicing. Practice in the mirror. How mad can you get in the mirror? So because I don't know if everybody uses their exemption, but I use my exemption. And I go and see these so-called high price stores, and I purchase goods and stuff like that, and I tell them, hey, I'm exempt, and they look at me like I'm crazy.
I say.
I'm like, he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm exempt. She's like, what does that mean? I said, you don't know what exempt means? So you got a manager? I said, yeah, I'm exempt. And she's like, well, you got your paper? She's like, yeah, from Georgia. I'm in a territory called Georgia. So she's like, you got your paper? So you got your papers? I'm like, papers? I'm like, what? I said, miss, I'm not a corporation. That's for corporations. I said, I'm from a tribe. And she said, oh, well, anyway, do you have like anything that says card? She called it attitude. So then I gave it to her. Then she looked, she's like, well, you supposed to have paper. I said, incorrect, miss. I said, that's for corporations. I said, I'm not a corporation. I don't need to go to the state. Don't need to ask the state for no exam.
And by the fact of your demonstrations, that alone is enough light shed to bring awareness to others.
Yeah,
it's not her fault of her own arrogance or ignorance.
Right. But it's an Albion. And I tell people, I don't care if it's like 15 cents, 20 cents. Like if he hit his 20 cents, I ain't got time to argue with you. You know what I'm saying? But when it's like $60, $80 in tax, or whatever the case may be, oh no, I'm tax exempt. It's a big difference between $60 and 15 cents. I can spare 15 cents. I can spare the 15. Like, here you go, 15 cents. Here you go.
Now tax, we talking a whole nother. Yeah, I feel you on that.
That's the whole versus 15 cents versus $100 in tax. You gonna buy a TV, it's $100 in tax. What you think? You gonna argue 15 cents over $100?
They
I'm like,
already,
yeah.
they already pay. They are supposed to pay their own taxes, but they put it on the people to pay their taxes.
Right. It says in the it says that the United States is responsible for all taxes, but people don't understand. The United States is a corporation. 28 USC 302 Part 15A. It clearly states that the United States is a federal corporation, an agency, a department, a commission, a board, or any or other instrumentally of the United States. It's telling you this is from Cornell Law School. 18 USC subsection 911, citizen of the United States. Whoever willfully and falsely represents himself to be a citizen of the United States shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 3 years or both. So when I share, our tribe, and I talk about our tribe on the website, this and that and third, and I'm like, and I showed them like, look, this is their stuff, not mine. I didn't write none of this stuff. I'm just reading what they wrote. And it comes to people, but I can't force them to do anything else. It's only when they get jammed up. Yo, I want to be. Yo, how can I get down? How can I be like, like, really? You got to scream, Songbird? And I try to help people in the beginning because I'm like, don't wait until it's too late, because sooner or later they're gonna make it very, very hard for you not to claim your nationality, and you're gonna be very, very upset, and you're gonna look at me stupid. And I'm like, I already told you, I warned you.
No, that's what this attack on the crown has been making. I say,
and I warn people. I'm like, and it's plenty of groups and stuff like that, but there's no real tribes out here like us. They can't say they federally recognized. They can't say, yeah, I'm about to put you in your crib, in your prison jail. Right.
No. We need that energy, Noble. I say.
I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm just being funny, but she gonna look at me like I'm crazy. She'll look at me, and she'll look around in her surroundings, and she'll look back at me like, really?
I heard her respond.
Yeah. 8 months ago, she be yapping.
I say.
Right? He be yapping. You be yapping, right? You're a big girl now. Yeah. Okay. Well, you're not quite a big girl.
All praise to the ancestors for that.
I don't get how people have children and discard them, like put them in the trash or don't feed them, or that bothers me. Even if it's an Albion, I mean that's a a being that didn't have to be here. I don't care if it's an Albion or not. They didn't have to be here. So I mean, I don't like these Albions. I can't stand these Albions. But I'm being serious. I can't stand them. I mean, they cocky attitudes. Like, hold on, time out.
Can't sit them nor stand them.
Like, you have the meteor gall to sit up here and look at me with this face, and you own stolen land, you own stolen property that you are benefiting from. You have the immediate gall to look at me in disgust. You guys to be joking.
Sure.
Yeah, rape, rob, and murder, and expect us to be your friend. Just like they in North Carolina, they terminated. I don't know if y'all heard, they had terminated. This has been about over a year ago, and they had terminated the whole cadets in North Carolina, I believe, because they had like a little Facebook group, and it was saying something like, we got to go out here and play with these monkeys tonight. And it was saying all kind of like racist stuff and stuff like that. And someone reported it, and they terminated that whole class. And they had another one where they was posed on the side of the road on a highway, and some white lady said, "Hey, listen, I don't want to get shot." And the officer said, "Hey, we don't." He said, "We only kill black people. We don't kill white people." You know, I'll be paying attention. You know, like I'm like I pays attention. You know, I'm sorry. You know, but all these Albions, they got to go. I mean, I guess you got some. I guess you got some all right ones out there who trying to fight, and you know, but they don't need fighting for them. They're not fighting for us. They're not fighting for us. I mean, so it's like you're not doing me no favors. You're not doing anything good for me. You know, people like, well, we represent you. Where? 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 Don't say the United Nations. You don't represent us there. Even so-called Africans don't even represent us. So who represents us? But yet, they got millions and millions of Federal Reserve notes to go fight in these other places. But yet, you won't even give the so-called 40 acres and a mule that was already signed to the people who you stole the land from. For reparations, which means to repair, to fix. What did you destroy that you need to fix something? You know, but see, everybody want to vote for who? Vote for what? It's not your system. The system was not made for you. Remember, you're supposed to be 3/4 of man. You're not even a whole human being. So how can a handicapped person vote? You're disabled. You are disabled, meaning that you are no good to no one. You know, people not breaking down. People are not breaking down nothing. They just putting a John Hancock sign, and that's it. Give me that. You know. Hello?
Peace and love, family. My phone died.
Oh. You know, but
Peace and love, I say.
What the hell? Oh. So, you know, people like I said the only thing I do with the Albions, if they are permitted to stay here or whatever it may be, I said I'll do business with them to help my people. I said that's the only thing I'll do business to help my people. I don't go to no basketball games. I don't go to no football games. I don't go to no concerts. Why? Because we're gonna go see our own people perform, and they don't even get back. They don't buy no land for us. They don't do nothing. But you're gonna go pay $300 to go see Beyonce in the front stage just so you can shake her hand. But that same $300 you could be putting in a pot to buy 10 acres of land with everybody else. That's if you want to go that route, you know, and pay for the land. You know, it's a lot of things that we could be doing with these so-called finances. You know, we could be buying gold, we could be buying silver, because you know, a lot of things going to change. You know, we got to be in a flow.
So no, we are buying gold. We are buying silver. Let's change. Make that change within ourselves, I say.
Now, are you getting it from websites, or are you getting scrap gold? You getting scrap silver?
No,
you getting gold coins?
I'm saying with the ideal,
right?
Of what you're saying, to build, to iterate, to add to that. Let's shift that paradigm. Yeah, we should be. We could be. Nah, we are. Though it's ours already.
True.
I say.
But you know, I don't have 20 years to be fighting these fools back and forth in court. You know, cause that's what they bet on. They bet on, well, let's see if they survive or not. Let's see if they die off. You know, notice anybody who gets sued, like these big corporations, and they know that they don't have no case. They know they're gonna lose. So what they do is prolong it 2 years, prolong it 4 years, prolong it another 2 years, and the next thing you know, somebody dies. Like, oh, well, they're already dead. So
true. Perfect segue for me to come in and say what I want to say in regards to that. This is all true. This is why we are no longer dealing with their forced assimilation in British courts. This is why I'm teaching you all how to walk in your Imperium status. You create your own remedy. You create your own platform based upon your status.
Sure.
That's what you have to do. They know they don't have power over you. They know they don't have jurisdiction over you. That's why they label brothers and some sisters incompetent when they keep going back and forth in court, and they recommend them to a mental institution, because at law it is incompetence. You're saying one thing and you're doing another. You can't claim that you are indigenous, you own the land, and your status is of an Aborigine Moor, and still go ask them for redress. It doesn't equate. It's an oxymoron. This is something that I had to learn. This is something that I walked into. This is something that the ancestors cultivated me to know from going back and forth with these folks till I finally got it. And this is why I had all the challenges I had, because they wanted to mold me to see who really had the power. You have to come out of their systems. Come out of then it went into the male phallic worship. So you have to come out of him and come back into her, where it all began, where the mother, the matriarch, was the one who laid down the law, institute, flock, and the children to follow. That's the way it's always been for hundreds of millions of years, and that's the way it's going to always be. But it's up to us to know that and walk in that. And by doing that, all of our footsteps are ordered, and everything will come back into perfect peace and perfect balance once you know thyself. Once you know the proper order of your mother, the proper order of the ancestors, your ancestral line, what they did. It's not about being emotional, and it's not about, having an ego, that male ego, a woman this, a woman that. It ain't about all of that. Those that stole our power, they know exactly who to pray to. And this is one of the messages that the ancestors gave me to give to everyone today regarding that. But I'm gonna say my prayer, and I'm gonna add into this prayer these new things that the ancestors gave to me. I know y'all said the prayer already, but they don't hear it very often when we come on live. So we're streaming live on YouTube also. So I'm gonna go ahead and say it, and I'm gonna add these things, and then I'll have further discussion about what y'all think about what the ancestors gave me. Ashe? Ashe, why? I, Empress Nitiel Bay, and we, the Aborigine Moors, so-called Black people, for all y'all that's out there listening, if I say Moor, I'm talking to the whole Asiatic melting pot. I'm talking to all those who may not know, but still call themselves Black. I, Empress Nitiel Bay, and we the Moors, with the powers invested in me, with my masculine and my feminine Shekinah powers within, invoke the Holy Spirit of truth to break, dissolve, and cut off soul ties in the spirit realm and astral plane, attached to me and my family of the Moors. All things that are ungodly and do not serve our highest and best good shall be stripped away, vanished away from us into the abyss, never to be seen again. I, Empress Nentiel Bay, and we, the Cherokee Nation of Moors, the Aborigine Moors, the original bloodlines, cancel, remove, and destroy all altars made in my image and likeness, our image and likeness. We cancel, remove, destroy all altars made in my image and likeness, my son Blake's image and likeness, my daughter's image and likeness, my family of the Moors image and likeness, my tribe and tribal members image and likeness. We cancel, remove, and destroy all altars made in my image and likeness, made in my children's image and likeness, made in my tribal members' image and likeness, made in our image and likeness as a whole. I, Empress Nentiel Bay, and we the Moors break, remove, and destroy all rituals that have been brought against us in the astral plane, spirit realm. All spells, curses, hexes, rituals are now bound up, destroyed, and sent back to the cinders forever. I, Empress Nentiel Bay, and we the Moors cut, sever, destroy all spiritual agreements and contracts that we have entered into, knowingly or unknowingly, that has hindered the Moors, that has hindered my life, that has hindered my family's lives, past, present, and future. I cancel, destroy, dissolve any and all attacks brought against me in the dream state that may have attached itself to me or my family of the Moors. I break all generational curses brought against me and my family. I break all generational curses brought against me and my family. I break all generational curses brought against me and my family. I break all generational curses brought against me and my family. I cut, sever, and cancel all soul tie agreements and contracts made along my family line that are ungodly and do not serve our highest and best good. I, Empress Nentiel Bay, and we, the Moors, release the wealth, riches, and gold held for us in the astral plane and on this physical plane. Bring it into our palms right now into physical manifestation. I, Empress Nentiel Bay, and we, the Moors, declare that all beings sitting in our seats of power shall resign, be removed, with no more opportunity to repent for their sins against the Most High Elohim's words, the Aborigine Moors, any of our deities who they've been praying to. The Black Madonna accepts no more repentance from the wicked. Goddess Isis accepts no more repentance from the wicked. The god Osiris accepts no repentance from the wicked. King Tut accepts no more repentance from the wicked. King Solomon accepts no repentance for the wicked. Hathor accepts no repentance from the wicked. None of our ancient deities shall give power to any of the wicked secret societies that stole our inheritance, our teachings and instructions, and our knowledge of who to pray to for power. There is no more repentance for them. There's no more invocations and requests and prayers being answered by our deities and our family airline, our family lineages, I should say. I cut, sever, and cancel all soul tie agreements and soul ties, contracts made along my family line that are ungodly and do not serve our highest and best good. We release the wealth, riches, and gold held for us in this earthly plane and in the astral plane. Bring it into our palms right now, into the physical manifestation. I, Empress Nentiel Bay, and we the Moors declare that all beings sitting in our seats of power shall resign, be removed, with no opportunity to repent for their sins any longer. They have violated our ancient laws, the words of our ancestors, the Most High Elohim, all the words of the Aborigine Moors, the landlords of the lands of Mu. I, Empress Nintiel Bay, and we the Moors declare that all imposter fiduciaries, trustees, beneficiaries, states, government officials, governors, mayors, city council, all of them, all beneficiaries of the U.S. Corporation, and all political bodies within that have been over our vast estate in the Americas shall be removed and turn over the keys to the White House and Buckingham Palace back to the Moors. All those secret societies holding on to our words left by our ancestors, our lost books, our hidden culture, our knowledge of our connection to our cosmic and earthly creators. Our ancestors left us those instructions. That is our inheritance, our teachings and instruction. It does not belong to the secret societies who stole it. It does not belong to the Scottish Rite Freemasons or the Ku Klux Klan or the Daughters of the Nile, Sons of the Nile, Daughters of Isis, Sons of Isis. It does not belong in the hands of those who stole it from the proper heirs. They must give it back to us. Our ancestors left us those instructions and teachings and instructions for us to rule the land, for us to govern, for us to have our own governments and run our empires. These violating impostors must correct their wrongs, or else all violators shall be punished, and they will be put to death by our ancestors. We now have the power to invoke. It has been brought back to us through the Akash, what we need to do to bring things back into balance. So whether they stole it or not, it's all coming back to us now. All those that are left that the ancestors do not remove from our path forever, their children's children shall be punished and be made to pay back the Aborigine Moors pursuant to the charter, fee schedule, and their heirs and their children's children shall be cursed and be made to pay back their forefathers' debt to we the Aborigine Moors and our heirs only in perpetuity. So on and so on and so on to infinity. So it is, so it is. It shall forever be. I'm going to leave that one open. The ancestors told me that certain prayers just need to be left open so they can reverberate and keep vibrating into the universe. When we seal it 3 times at the end, that's done for that moment. Okay. But if it's so many of them doing certain things, you want to keep it open so that it goes out into the universe and also goes, when we burn them, that goes out into the universe, into the into the trees. Our prayers go into the universe and it's being held there so that it's never forgotten. It's just constantly vibrating. So that being said, y'all heard me include a few things into the prayer. So this has been a problem that we've been inflicted with. We've been doing our protection rituals every day, all of us in the tribe, for y'all been doing it solid with me for at least the last year and a half, I would say, maybe going on 2 years. The reason why we haven't been able to fully get rid of them is because they're using our own energy against us. They are using the deities and the ancestors, our ancestors in our family line, mine in particular. So this is why the answers is coming to me, because all of these things that we're dealing with have been happening in this same family line for the last 4 generations at least. So these things have to be dealt with. And, like I was asking me earlier, how am I doing? I said, I feel like an empress because it's hard work. It's not like it's something easy. This is a lot of work. And to be a true empress, I feel you have to learn how to control your environment. You have to learn how to keep everybody safe. You have to learn how to invoke the power. This is the only thing they respect. And this is why I'm still here to this day, because I've learned how to, first of all, protect myself. And then the ancestors are now giving me all the keys and the clues that these individuals, these wicked non-human beings, stole all of our power from us. So like I said, the prayers to the Black Madonna is who all of them use. So I recently told the tribe to add that in our protection prayer. This is how these people been gaining on us. This is what they did when they came and forced religion on our people. They gave us some prophet, or they gave us some pale face Jesus, or they gave us just some entity that didn't invoke the power that we were used to having. So what they did, they kept all of our knowledge on who was having the real power, who to invoke. So all of these levels and all these secret societies and in these brotherhoods and sisterhoods, they all pray to a different deity to get their power until they get all the way up to the top. The top is King Tut for them. Now, me and Rain recently, well, not too long ago, we was looking in the Geometriator. Now, this is a program that is real deep. For all of you who don't know what that is or familiar with it, go check it out, put in the name, and it's going to give you a whole mathematical breakdown of what's all attached to that energy. So we was looking up names like Donald Trump, or he looked up his name and Donald Trump came up there, and King Tut came up there. So we have a lot of tribal members who are reincarnated as these entities, such as myself, which I've just recently learned who I was reincarnated as. So King Tut came up and Donald Trump's name came up. So this was the light bulb that came to me today, after the Anunnaki came yesterday and they came today, and I heard that ringing in my ear. Shortly after that, they did another attack against my son. That's another thing that they've been showing me. This is how they overturned my ancestors' empire. It was thousands of them that was doing sorcery on the imperial family. They was doing sorcery and mind control. Now, this is another thing that came up in the Geometriator that me and Rain was like, wow, wonder what they mean by mind control. I looked up my auntie's name, the one in London, England, who I discovered, who is the one who let them out of the cave, and her and some other family members trained and cultivated these Scots to be their army. And that's who ended up overthrowing the empires. And that's who ended up, being the Catholic Church today, being the Islamic order, all of them mixed in with some of the royal families, such as Haile Selassie. They didn't stay in there, but Cyprios did touch down and got with one of the women of that royal lineage of Ethiopia. And from that lineage, Haile Selassie was one of the grandchildren of that, that lineage. So they did make their way around those that they couldn't kill. That's what they were trying to do. Get in with, these Scots that came out the cave. They knew that they were not the real man. They are only mankind. And they were, never meant to be out of the cave. And it was forbidden for them to come out of the cave. So they were a perfect partner for those in the family that wanted to overturn the empire, because they didn't want to be in the cave no more. excuse me, they didn't want to, not once they got wise and learn how to read and things like that, they didn't want to stay in there. They was happy to come out, and stop being slaves, stop doing hard labor and stuff like that. So anyway, so here we are, fast forward, we getting all of this back through the Akash, the downloads that's coming from the sun, the downloads that's coming from the Anunnaki. The ancestors also told me that those who of the imperial bloodline who are set to be rulers again, the Anunnaki has been visiting y'all or going to be visiting y'all. If you hear that, if you want to get more insight on that, you can just hit me up privately and I can confirm for you if that's what's happening, because I know what's happening and with me. And also, so they took all of our deities and been praying to them. So that's why when we looked up certain names in the geometriator, King Tut came up, and we couldn't figure that out. We was like, why is King Tut showing up? That's because there's so much energy being drawn to that name because they've been praying to King Tut since they stole the knowledge. So Donald Trump, that's how he got his power, his family, and all of them, they know the secret sauce. They know the secret sauce. So they stole the real knowledge and replaced it with some BS. Now we have pictures. I have pictures on my website, empressinamerica.com, showing how the popes and all these different people around the world parade the Black Madonna around and pray to her, kneel to the Black Madonna, all of these different things. So all of these sorcerers that we've been dealing with, me and the tribe, this is who they pray to. So the ancestors told me how to strip them of their spiritual power. First of all, they are not supposed to have this knowledge. Okay, they are never supposed to have more power than us. This was an ancient knowledge for rulers, and they took everything they learned and made it for wicked, used it for wicked. That's not what we used it for. The knowledge was not used for wicked. But this is a prime example of why the knowledge should have never been in certain hands. And people say that to me sometimes. I've heard them say that you don't give up all the knowledge and this and that and the other. Something in me is keeping me from doing it because evidently you're not worthy of that information. You're going to abuse your power. You're going to mess it up for everybody. It's not for you. Everything is not for everybody. I don't know why sometimes the spirit stops me from doing certain things, but now as I'm learning, as I'm maturing in the spirit, they're showing me why. Prime example, who have we been under, the rulership that we've been under? What did they do when they got all this knowledge? Beat the people down, killed them, and still trying to kill the heirs of the land to this day. Tearing up everything, tearing up our land, tearing up our earth, doing nothing but wicked with all the power they have gained. So this is why they were never supposed to have this knowledge in the first place. We fell, humanity, H-U-E, fell from humanity because of this. Because the power and the knowledge was in the wrong hands. This is why we have to get it back. We have to set our prayers and our invocations for protection against the wicked, being able to invoke power from our deities. So in order to counteract that, I told the tribe today, yesterday, and the day before, everything that was coming through, that we have to We have to go to them. We have to go to the Black Madonna. We have to go to Isis. We have to go to Osiris. We have to go to Hathor. We have to go to King Tut. We have to go to King Solomon ourselves and invoke them in our prayers and ask them to cut off all the prayers for the wicked, because they're using them to dominate us. They've been doing mind control, mind sorcery by taking the pictures of these deities and controlling us with it. They do it in all of their government. You ever seen somebody, they controlling these people because they have the knowledge to do so. All of these people are brainwashed. You ever been to Washington, D.C. or Virginia and everybody walking around looking like a zombie, especially in government? They are under a spell. So all of these spells that we've been under have to be broken, because every last one of them is a manipulation and a spell. Since they got here, since they learned this knowledge, they've been manipulating everything. The media, and they got all of these secrets still down in the Vatican vault and within these secret societies. Scottish Rite Freemasons. Hold on, let me plug up my charger, y'all. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. So all of these things that we don't understand how powerful they are, however minute they might seem, this little simple bit of knowledge has changed the world. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So what y'all think about what I just said? I mean, if y'all want to come open your mics and have dialogue, it's open.
Yeah, what you've been saying, is, bless you, is 100% true. They've taken our knowledge and they turned it against us. Through the brainwashing, social media, advertisements, etc. To where the people get, some people get stuck. They gotta break out of that quick fast. Ooh. That's why the Bible says the earth has been given into the hands of the wicked. Who's the wicked? These Albions out here. Like you said, they're destroying the land. They're cutting down trees. They're building industrial plants. They're building condos and co-ops, and they're not replanting no trees. Nothing. Like the matriarch said, it used to be trees be blocks long. One big old tree be like 2 blocks long. You can't really find those type of trees now. The air quality is not, to part. There's no balance. But there will be a balance soon, very soon. I yield. Is everybody here?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, present. Everything that you just said, my heart feels it is correct. My wound says it's correct. My wound doesn't lie to me. My intuition doesn't lie to me. And I'm not going to argue or debate. There's a time and a place for everything. I learned the Kemetic path first, and I didn't know why. I just thought it was a coincidence that my first initiation was Kemetic. But as I moved over and started studying other different African traditional sciences and technology, they all are paralleling one basic system. So when I'm dealing with the Orishas, or if I'm dealing with Kemetic ancient deities, when I'm dealing with primordial ancestors, ancient ancestors, the energy is different than when I'm talking to or dealing with a saint or an angel. But you only know this if you're doing the practice, if you're actually being a practitioner of sacred science. You gotta have both feet in the game. You know, practitioner, and you don't have to preferably initiate into any one of them because you are a god or goddess just based on your astrology. If you learn your astrology and your numerology, you will see where your power is. You will see where your magic is. You will see where your strengths are, your weaknesses, what you came here to do, what you come from, why you reincarnated this time, what your assignment is while you're here. But a lot of people don't want to do the work. They want to go to the classes, the training. They want to do the rituals. They want to do the woo woo foo woo, and it's boo boo. They don't have no power in it. But when you start to really know yourself, your power, your magic, your gifts, your abilities, you're unstoppable. Period. They can set any trap they want. They'll fall in it before you will. Matter of fact, your spirit will tell you somebody's trying to trap you.
Period.
And give you the proper defense ancestrally, astrally, in the dream state. Will have people that know you call you and tell you, I had a dream about you. Somebody getting ready to try to do something. I've already
or them birds. Them birds will come.
Birds will come. I got stung by bees. Hummingbirds show up. Hawks show up. You are as powerful as your mind. If your mind is weak, then you're weak. And you can be manipulated and taken advantage of and waved to and fro like a flag on a pole and get tatted up because you can't take the fear's win. So you gotta get grounded and rooted in the fundamentals of your craft, of your practice, of your magic, of your intuition, of your integration to your higher self. Most people don't even know who their higher self is. Your higher self oversoul, right? It's the part of you that knows everything, that's connected to the all and the one. If you don't take the time, your skills, your abilities, what can you do? How can you protect your lineage? How can you build for the next 7 generations? somebody got to teach it to the kids. If you not doing it, how you going to teach them? Because they're going to fall into that trap. Now, they have free will, they have choice, but there's things that you can override. Granted, if you do things in the right protocol and procedures and orders and rights. But when there's two or more gathered with the right elements and the right energy and the right deities in the right cosmic timing and the right phase of the moon, what you think gonna happen? The portal opens up and you have access to everything you need. You can call in whatever you need when you need it. So if you got fear-based thinking and you got weak-minded, if you're not solid on who you are or what you value or what you represent or who's really paying attention to you, if you're not paying attention to yourself, don't come on this path. If you don't want to know who you are, don't come on this path. Stay in the matrix. Stay a zombie. If that's what you want, fine. But you can't be around me and mine. So I ain't got time for incubus, succubus. I ain't got time for hooded entities. Parasite, parasitic, things that can attach to you and feed off of you. What's that? You keep going to the doctor, you sick, you don't know why. Somebody been doing work on you. You don't even know how to protect, you don't know how to stop that. Because you're afraid of your own practice, your own stuff. Your bloodline gave you everything you need. You just got to know which ones to work with. You got to know the difference between a benevolent ancestor and a malevolent ancestor. You got to know the difference between a deity, a demigod, and a demon. All demons are not bad. Some demons work for the good. You won't know that if you don't study. Magic is like a scientific formula, and it's a constant hypothesis, and you constantly have to keep asking, what are they not telling me? What more do I need to know? And can I have guidance and protection along the way? And it'll show up. You have to pinch yourself because you will be like, dang, it that fast? They're listening. You will be tested. You don't halfway ride a horse, right? So if you're going to be about it, you got to get on the horse and ride it. You have to be clear on what your intentions are, especially in a collective set. You can't have double-minded people in your collective. So that's going to invite intruders, imposters, and fuckery, as I call it, energetic fuckery.
That's it.
Right? We don't have time to be messing around with unbalanced mental health people. There's medicine for that. We got medicine for that. Natural medicine, energetic medicine. The ability to have a heart-to-heart conversation and soothe a person. That's the power of the touch. That's the power of the hand. That's the laying of the hand. Why do you think they put oil on their hands before they put hands on you? because the oil has been sitting on the altar. That's before a deity of some kind or an entity of some kind. You have to know how to invoke with the I and with the E. You have to know how to exercise something. If you need something completely removed, you got to know how to do that. There's poltergeist energies. There's wandering spirits. People that don't want to cross over. People that need to be crossed over. When your spiritual gifts start coming on and advancing, you have to know how to do those things. You can do it with a pendulum, a dowsing rod, words of power, mantras, yantras. There's all types of technology and tools that we have access to, but you have to learn how to use them. No one's going to give you all the answers. You got to put some skin in the game. You can't be in the practice 3 weeks and talking about you getting ready to do this, and that, and you don't know the fundamentals and the basics. That's how you get fucked up. Because you don't know what the next person is working with. And you don't know how they working. You don't know if they're using chaos magic or sex magic or elemental magic or planetary magic. You got to know what types of magic they're working with. Are they using, you gotta know. You gotta know what you're dealing with.
Let me say something to that. When I was first being attacked, right? I didn't know where it was coming from. I didn't know who was doing it. And I didn't know what was being done exactly. So what the ancestors told me, they just showed me different ways on how to protect myself. And the most effective, quick, fast way to stop them in their tracks. Like they would leave hair in my car. They would leave red smudge, like blood of something in my car, trying to cause an accident. They leave it in the corners, sometimes in my house, sneak in my house and do it. So what I did was collected anything I saw that was abnormal, wrote down, or sometimes this is before I was writing things down, I would invoke with my mouth. That's the first way the ancestors showed me how to invoke them, with my mouth verbally. So I would take the stuff, ball it up in a brown paper bag, spit in it, and tell the ancestors, these are the hairs of my enemy. This is the witchcraft of my enemy. And then I would go and burn it. I had an altar outside at the park, dug a hole, and I would burn it. That's how I would send them their stuff back. Then I began to become, wise, and things were becoming more clear to me. Then I would say the names of different groups or individuals who, in government, who I thought it was. Then I came into the knowledge of using the pendulum to get a clearer answer on what I was getting from the ancestors. So it is a process of development to get to that point. And now I'm at a point where if I went to my sister's house in December for a few days, and I came back and my protection that was over my door was down on the floor. It was off. It was taken out of the wall and put on the floor, like right in front of me. When I came in the house, I could see it. And nobody hadn't been in my house in a long, long time, because I put a lot of protection up. And I said, I know doggone well somebody ain't been in here. But anyway, the ancestors took my protection pouch down that I had over the door, and they laid it right in front of me, so I would know that somebody had came in there and had did something. They are so slick what they did, they came in and they put some kind of metal, they put some metal screws near my protection on my door because they knew I had protection around my door. So they came in my house, probably got someone innocent to do it. They'll send innocent people around you, but the intent is wicked. So they probably sent somebody, innocent, not doing sorcery or nothing, not doing no witchcraft, nothing, to put this up there. But they probably laced it with something, oil, or dressed it, before that person put it in there. But the ancestors, if you deal with them every day, you invoke them every day, and you build your relationship with them every day, you'll get answers like that. And they'll come clear. Nowadays, in the time of this planetary alignment, is so clear what they're saying. You can hear them. And then that was the first time physically that I seen, one time, the great mother, Goddess Diana, she'll turn my lights off. Like she's real frugal. So I had to check a couple of times, like, has anybody been here? Did somebody come here and turn the light off? And I got my answer, that she had turned the light off and was like, you don't need that light on because they can see through that back window in your room. That's the answer I got. Because they was looking at my altars, looking, doing whatever they was, trying to do. So she turned the light off. So as I'm developing my relationship with them, they're coming up close and personal, like right there, showing me somebody been in this house. So then once I saw that on the ground, I said, let me get my pendulum and see, did somebody come in here? And it was like, they didn't come in, but they did something. So then that's when I saw, what they had put in there. But the ancestors, the point I'm making is that the ancestors, the more you deal with them, the more you talk to them, the more you invoke them, they will come and show you everything right in your face. Ashe.
Ashe what?
Say,
Ashe what?
No beliefs, Vicky. Would you agree?
Yes. I yield.
Go ahead. We was enjoying you. I just wanted to add that.
Ashe.
I was listening to see what I was supposed to say next. I'm not leading this. I'm being told what to say, honestly.
Yeah.
So,
Well, go ahead and deliver your message. I was just affirming.
okay.
You're doing so well. You're so strong in this area. This is why I wanted you in the tribe. The ancestors told me to come and find Vicky. I hadn't talked to you in how many? It was about 2 years.
2 years. My body is hot right now, so that's a sign for me to know that I'm warm.
Spirits around.
Basically, this is a real journey. This is a real experience. This is things have happened to my children. Matter of fact, I'll tell my testimony. I said this prayer with the Empress for 2 years. All kinds of blockages and obstacles that I had been having slowly started moving away. I was even homeless for a long period of time, injured and recovering still, being told, oh, you can't have that. or you don't qualify. And I see people coming up with all kinds of false documents and getting handed everything. And I come with everything and tell the truth and still deny it. So I was like, this can't be. You know what I mean? I'm a divine child of the Most High. I cannot be denied. I shall not be denied. So I continued to pray the prayer. I started getting letters of stuff being dropped off my credit. I started getting letters of approval for basic stuff like medication that I needed that I couldn't pay $70 for. All of a sudden, I didn't have to pay for it. All of a sudden, everything was cleared up. But at the time, I was invoking this prayer in its original state. But I also was working with certain deities, Eshu, Lord Ganesha, and then I started to learn, okay, well, what deities are for what I. Once I started figuring out, okay, well, I need to use Ganesha for this, Lord Ganesha for this. I need to use Eshu for this. I need to use Oshun for this. I need to use, I started making sure that I was aligning everything with the moon, my zodiac, all the astrological things, the herbs, the plants, the oils. I mean, I have stacks and stacks of books on just how I have to go through to prepare for a simple ritual. Because I don't want to put the wrong herb or the wrong root in my work. Or I don't want to be disrespectful to not knowing their do's and don'ts or their taboos, So due diligence is very, 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 very important. If you don't know, ask somebody, But ask somebody that you know that is consistent with their practice. Not, oh, I just want to do a ritual or a spell for this or that. This is your lifestyle. Being magically magnetic. Being magnetic as a female is awesome, but it's not as powerful when the masculine is not there. It's still powerful, but it's even more powerful when you have the masculine there. The law of gender, you gotta learn your basics, your correspondence, even what type of mantras and yantras and mudras to use when you're meditating. A meditative practice is very important. Activating your light body or your rainbow body. Knowing how many layers to your astral body, your ethereal body. Your, what we call it, our energetic suit. We have the skin, but we also have an energetic suit. Our spaceship, your Merkaba, This is why you need to know the tree of life, in the Kabbalah. You also need to know it the opposite direction as well. When you learn one system, then you learn it the opposite way, so you will know how to do the opposite, the counter. For every opposition, there's a, So you can just start small with just a white candle. If you don't do nothing but say Om to a white candle for 10 to 15 minutes with a clear intention and You can get peace, tranquility, stillness, clarity, purification. You can get all that in a chanting Om. Now, there's different ways you can spell it, but if you study, you will know. And don't let nobody tell you that Saturn is a bad planet to work with. Saturn is a great grandmama that'll whoop your ass. She respects hard work, and don't talk shit about karma either, because karma's not a bitch. Karma is a very, very ancient spirit. If you follow the protocols and the procedures and the right of a particular system, do that. But if you are going to step outside of a spiritual system, you're on your own. If you are tailor making your spiritual practice and you're going outside, well, I call it the middle path. I'm a middle path practitioner. I can deal with the dark energies. I can deal with black energy, chaos energy, and white dot energy, and cosmic energy, and But I studied. I've been doing this since 2014. I'm not the best, but I sure do know how to be an honorable student and humble myself and learn. I know how to get books. I know how to network. I know how to talk. You have to build relationships with people. A person that you think is through this journey might not be the one. It could be a mere stranger. You don't know who's practicing. A lot of people are still very much cloaked, and you still have to know how to cloak yourself and your work. If you don't, you're exposed. You're vulnerable. So that's the power of prayers, mantras, yantras, meditation, Tai Chi, Qigong, Kundalini, knowing how to harness your Kundalini, knowing how to use your sexual energy to manifest, how to keep it within and build on yourself and to keep yourself powered up and charged up. Creative energy, primordial energy is what it is. That's why it's called primordial energy. The next energy under that is creative energy, which is created through sex. The purpose of it is to create another child. So that's pure energy as well. You have to become the alchemist. You will start to make your own sigils, talismans, amulets. You'll be given dreams and instructions. I've had deities even come to me and give me specific prayers and mantras to do for a particular situation. You ain't got to explain that to nobody. You can go ask for confirmation from someone that's like a little bit more seasoned than you to confirm. But once you confirm, you get to work. There is no time in the astro. There's no such thing as time in the astro realm. So when I can't linearly work, I create a space astrally to work. But I like to do mental work. So I don't have the luxury of always lighting a candle and having herbs and oils and stuff all the time. You don't have time for that sometimes. You got to know You got to know what's your go-to. When all else fails, you can do this in the book, and it'll at least slow it down until you can get to other tools. And sometimes you'll just get downloaded exactly what to do. But if you don't pay attention to your intuition, if you don't have a relationship with your higher self and integrate that into you, your shadow work has to be done. Do not try to avoid shadow work. Please do not try to avoid shadow work. Shadow work is essential. It's a very much big part of your transformation. And you will have several transformations. They're not all going to look alike. They're not all going to feel alike. Each one of them is different. It's just like, they say a snake sheds its skin so many times, right? Well, every time you go through something, you're shedding off an old pathology, an old mindset, an old belief system, something that you was brought up with, and you realize, oh, that's not true. I don't have to adhere to that anymore. You can set yourself free from things that bound you that you didn't even know that you were bound to, that you made a vow to that you didn't know, that you were conscious or unconscious of. The important part in the prayer is knowingly and unknowingly, which is also conscious and unconscious. But you have a subconscious. Your subconscious is running everything. So whatever you spend most of your time, take it through your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mouth, your hands, your feet, and that's where most of your time is going. If that gets out of balance, then you can throw something off. You can throw a blessing off. You can throw a miracle off. You can throw off a whole manifestation because you got distracted. Or you have doubt and fear. It takes time to release doubt and fear and trauma. You know what I mean? If you think about it, we've been traumatized by this experience of having these so-called overlords. You have the right to protect yourself. You have a right to make sure your next generations to come don't have to go through what you went through. Whether they take the practice seriously or not, but you want to make sure that they know how to protect themselves energetically, emotionally, sexually. You also have to make sure you have a strong covering over your children. It's so, so important. If you don't have children yet, or you plan on having children, start praying for them before they get here. You can cover your children up to 7 generations. One parent. It's even better when both parents do it. But if it's just one, it's okay. It only takes a clear intention, a open heart. Your heart can't be hardened in this either. You have to constantly do heart work or heart chakra work or whatever, heart healing. Because the heart is the midway. It's the midway between it separates your lower chakras, your animal self, from your, your 3 lower chakras. You need to control your sexual energy. You need to control, not control, but you need to be stable. You need to have food, clothes, shelter. You need to have high self-esteem and confidence in your will. You have to master those 3 chakras at the bottom. If one is off, it throws off all the rest. If one's spinning more than the other, right. There's certain crystals, there's certain energy work you can do. There's crystals and gemstones specifically for keeping all your chakras balanced. There's certain crystals and gems that keep your masculine and feminine balanced and in harmony with each other. Because when you have conflict within, you have conflict without. If you have conflict in the mind, it reflects in the body. Your body has memory. If you've ever had a traumatic experience and you walk somewhere and your body starts to do weird stuff, your body remembers something. Acknowledge your body. Your body is a pendulum as well. When I'm in the grocery store, if I pick up some food, can I have this? If I lean forward, it's yes. If I lean back, it's no. Your whole body is a pendulum. If you use it right, you have a whole electrical system running through your body. We all are electric. That's why you're supposed to eat an alkaline diet, and that's why diet's important, especially if you want to live long. But who wants to live long and suffer? I don't want to live long and suffer financially, emotionally, mentally. I'm trying to get free, all the way free. But how much do you value freedom? How much value do you put on freedom? What does that look like? What does that feel like? What does that taste like? And are you willing to do the work for that vision? It's not. If it was easy, everybody would do it, right? If it was easy, everybody would do it. But it's not easy, and everybody's not doing it. And people are going to look at you weird. And people are going to act funny with you and drop out your life. You got to be okay with people leaving you. You have to love yourself enough that if anybody walks away from you, okay with it. It hurts, but you can do it. It goes back to self-preservation. How much do you love yourself and your peace and your space and your energy? Are you going to protect it or not? Because if you don't protect it, someone will definitely siphon it for you and try to use it against you. It's up to you to decide. But if you don't know what you want, you better start thinking about it. The 5D dimension is already showing itself. The meta universe and all that stuff. Where is your consciousness? Is it in 3D? Is it in 4D? Is it in 5D? Where are you at? And if you're not where you think you are, accept where you are and grow till you get to where you want to be. Let's say that Noah didn't build the ark overnight, did he? They daily practice. Life is gonna happen. Family members are gonna die. People gonna get sick. Babies is gonna get born. The economy is gonna come and go. Inflation is still gonna. But you have to be consistent with your spiritual practice. It is why I'm still talking. When somebody try to take your power from you and you get your power back, you'll never let nobody do it again. So how bad do you want your power? Or you want to keep letting everybody else tell you what to do with your stuff and it's yours? I'm not a slave or an indentured servant. I'm a free-minded, 2-foot, consciously thinking and breathing and functioning linearly and astrally. I depend on my relationship with my ancestors. I can depend on it. It's my refuge. It's my safe place. Your first line of defense is your ancestors. These are the first people that are going to come for you and protect you. So don't take the libations as just part of the ceremony. It's important to say those libations. It's important to pour that water. It's important to put your menstrual blood in the ground. It's important to retain your seed, men. It's important. You don't want people just using your life force energy any old kind of way. Somebody's watching you and you don't even know it. So either you're going to be a leader or a follower. If you're going to be in the herd, you're going to do what the herd do, then you deal with the consequences of what the herd does. But I know I'm not that. I'm a trailblazer. I'm a leader. I'll create what I need. Even if I don't know how to create it, I know I have the ability to. That's standing in your power. That's knowing that you're magical as fuck and can't nobody take your shit. Get 10 or 20 more people like that, you got an army. With you can stand alone. It might appear that you're alone, but you're never alone. You have to attune yourself to the energy. Your energy. You have to know what your energy is. If you've never experienced it, you can't explain it to somebody. I can't explain anyone else's energy on this panel. I know mine. But you have to have a desire to be better each day. Even if that's just 5 minutes. Whatever. Figure out Figure it out. Make time. Create time. Extend the time. Stretch the time. If you value your linear life, you'll make the time. If you value your descendants and your future descendants, you'll make the time. If you love your elders like you say you do, you'll make the time. I yield.
Ashe, why?
Gratitude, Patreon.
I say, wow.
And that's all self-love too.
Awesome knowledge. You doing your thing. Go ahead. You're on the roll. Does anyone else have any testimony to the spiritual work we've been doing?
I mean, I can say, since joining the tribe, traveling in general domestically, like through TSA, has been way smoother, as well as just overall the energy. Everything's just been in alignment ever since joining the tribe, and things manifest not overnight, but it feels like overnight once it's manifested. So, like usually with TSA, before joining the tribe, when going through TSA, they kind of treat you like a domestic terrorist. The way they pull you to the side, you got to show them extra documentation. Then once you go through, you got to get screened extra. They're opening up your property, take everything out your bag, check for bombs and explosives and stuff. Then join the tribe, and I just make it clear that it's a de jure tribal ID. It's not going to come up in y'all's little scanning system as far as the de facto corporation goes. And then once I say that, their higher ups just say tribal, let them through. And I don't get extra screening like I used to. So that's a plus.
I sure.
Wow, 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 wow. Finally got in. I don't know what happened, but I've been on mute all this time. Empress Ninti, I had a response to a question you had from the beginning. And then Victorious Vicky got on and she took me to places I have never been. Great, great, great dissertation, sister. I need that. I need to know more, as I'm sure everybody else does. So what you're going to do is give us more. We are thirsty. We need to know books. We need to know what we need, what you have. We need to know most definitely. Empress Ninti, you spoke on Hathor, King Solomon, Isis, Hathor, for us to reverse what they have been using our methods to pray to our deities. So I think that is most wonderful, gracious, and so simple to reverse all their spells. If that's all we have to do, so it is, so it is, so it is. Let it be done now. Furthermore, because they can't touch us because we are the nines. And I yield with that.
Ashewa.
I say, wow.
Ashe, wow.
I cannot be the only one that has something to say. Step up, Moors.
Islam.
Plum.
I would like to ask the sister that spoke if she's still on what she meant by Lilith in the fifth house.
I can get a couple gallons. That's it. Okay, I'm talking. Lilith. Oh, I said Black Moon, Lilith, fifth house.
In the fifth house.
So I was speaking to my personal astrology chart. So when the Empress was speaking about the ancient, I said I'm talking. So that is in my personal natal chart. So that's where it's called an aspect, and it looks like a backwards moon with a cross at the bottom, like the symbol of it, and that's where your connection to the Dark Mothers is in your natal chart. If you didn't know, that's where you would look for it.
I say gratitude and gratitude for the message.
I didn't even know I was going to say all that, but I'm thankful and grateful for being above ground.
Islam.
Again.
I say. I would like to say gratitude. Like I said, I felt that energy. So I will speak that you have us around within the tribe, within the entity that will go to battle, go to war for that, protect that. Gratitude.
I put the food away more.
Usher.
Islam. Sister Victorious V, I got a question about shadow work. It's so much that I don't know that you spoke of. So I have no clue about shadow work.
Okay, shadow work is it's a it's like dealing with the parts of yourself that you have not processed, trauma, rape, sexual assault, abandonment, depression, loneliness, inner child healing, parts of yourself that you suppress, things that you learned in your community, that you learned in the home, that you learned in the church, that you learned on the street. Anything that you like in a meditative practice, you have to journal through this process. You know, it's not something that you need a support system when you go into shadow work as well, because you can break down in tears. You know, it's like pulling the scab off a wound that you forgot that was there, or having somebody hit a bruise that you that you that you thought you medicated and you thought you were over it. You know, people say, oh, I'm triggered. You're not triggered. Somebody touched a bruise. Somebody, you're wounded there and you haven't healed yet. Or you thought you put the right medicine on it, but it's oozing infection and you gotta flush it. It's like spiritual first aid. These are the wounds on your soul. Those things have to be tended to. Let's say you have a attachment to a person or a situation, an environment, for a long period of time. When that cord is pulled, it leaves an opening, does it not?
Yes, it does.
So you have to have the right medicine to put in that wound. You gotta clean it. You gotta disinfect it. You gotta pack it with the right medicine. I didn't say I was talking. I love you too. And in the name that you call me, underneath your breath, also known as mother.
Ashe.
Young adults tend to, they forget that when you had nothing, it was your mama that held you down.
No matter what.
When I went without meals to feed my kids. I stayed in line while my kids was at school to create a meal. I stood in 3 lines one day on a hot summer day at 3 food banks in my community and watched to provide a meal for my kids.
For your children.
Right?
Yes.
That's what a mother's supposed to do, right? You self-sacrifice. But just because
Yes.
you done got grown and you got little pubic hairs and you can smell yourself, don't mean you disrespect me. And like I said, I'm talking, and if she don't want to stop talking, I'll show her. I mean, stop talking. You see, she got her butt up out of here. So look, I still have to be a mother. She's 24.
She's 24.
Right. Active 14. 24, active 14. But it's okay. Life. When you don't want to listen to the ones that's guiding you, you're going to meet that wall of suffering. It don't feel good when you keep slamming into it. Your head is bleeding. You got scrapes on your knees, and you're leaking and shit. Then you want mama. No. Don't disrespect your parents. Living or in the astral realm. Your parents ain't here, still honor them.
Yes.
We chose our parents. We really didn't know. We chose our parents.
Yes.
We chose to come to this dimension through them. That's why you also have to find out who your spiritual parents are. That's why you need to find out who is your Ori. Who's walking with you. Have you ever been walking down the street and they say, don't go down that street, keep going?
Yes.
And you find out later on that somebody got shot, stabbed, or robbed, or raped, or something, or a shooting or something happened on it. You was guided not to go that way.
Yes.
So gut instinct is important. Your intuition is important. Your intuition will save your life.
Yes, it will. That's fate and destiny. The ones who came through the birth canal with you. They've been guiding and directing all along. You call them intuition. You had to pay attention. The cheapest thing in the world. Pay attention to yourself. You should never find out what you should find within. It's already there. It's not something new, modern. It's ancient. We are ancient. The ancient ones come again. You speak good words, Victorious V. People need to hear what you have to say. Where have you been? Going through life, to and fro, going through life, standing in a line. Life is going to get better miraculously for everyone, especially the Cherokee Nation of Moors, the Aborigine Moors of the empire under Empress Nenti. Empress Nenti is a direct bloodline to her ancestors, and her ancestors are guiding and directing and getting in her ear and downloading, and we should all have these things going on within us, but we're all not that far along. I need to know more. It's like I'm a sponge. I want to absorb. I have absorbed more science for over 40 years. Never have I been taught the things that you mentioned. I have sought things on my own. It's no comparison. It's like you can't think out the box, but I've always thought out of the box. I've been looking for more. MOOR and MUUR, which is us. The God man, the God womb man, the number 9. You can't escape the 9. No one can. No one can get higher than the 9. And we are the 9. There's so much to know, but we are guided and directed into working for the man, finding a job, chasing a dollar that isn't even real. It's just fiat currency, but we're chasing it, and we're all after we're all, check that. A lot of people are label whores. I got to have this label, I got to have that label, while they laugh at us all the way to the bank. We need to change that. We need our own fashion. We need our own manufacturing of food. If we grow it ourselves, this womb man hands is gonna make it right. And it's gonna be healthy. Food is gonna taste like food again, because food has lost its taste. And I'm not happy about that. So if it's lost its taste, that means it's lost its ability to be electric. You were speaking on electric food. That's the acid and the electric, the alkalinity. So we need to be 80% alkaline and 20% acid. Present day, we are 80% acid and 20% alkaline. We need to change that immediately. You know how they have bread for everything? Well, bread isn't good for you. But as long as I can keep you on the hamster wheel and I'm churning it out and you eat what I want you to eat and drink what I want you to drink, then I am in charge. This corporation is going down. The Pope said he is extinguishing, eviscerating all corporations. He said America Major is about to wake up. He also said, you better be lucky they don't do to you what you did to them. He was talking to Obama. the Pope going around kissing people's feet. Dark-skinned Asiatics' feet, because he's trying to get repentance. There is no repentance, no repentance, no repentance for their sins. They are only a 6. They can't do 9. They can't reach 9. So their time is up. And they know their time is up. It's up to us, Moors. It's time for us to step up. Step up. And I yield with that.
I say, wow.
Ashwa.
Yeah.
Dead air is not a good thing, Moors. We have something to speak about. This is our time. Yeah, I'm still here. I was trying to think of this movie, Sammy Davis Jr., The Hackers.
Oh yeah, the hackers.
What's that about?
Brother Pyramid Bay, she just has to cry. She's only speaking herself. Speaking, that's how they speak.
It's time for her to go night and she's about to get a bath.
I'm gonna give you listen.
What's the hackers about?
I'm gonna give you a nice bath. I have everything. I'm gonna have everything.
I was explaining to the tribe earlier. It's just a Western movie, but Sammy Davis Jr. plays in this movie. It's a color movie. It's in color, excuse me. And I was just pointing out. I was just pointing out. Oh, okay. It was just by accident. I overheard their conversation, and I pinpointed what the Albion said to Sammy Davis Jr. when it comes to quote unquote black people here in America, the original peoples. And he made a statement. I guess he must have been mad at him, or they had a fight. And he said, "I know you hear me, you black little Indian." And so when people, even the Albions know who we are. They know that we are the Aborigines. They know we are the descendants of the original people of the entire earth, but more so Turtle Island, land of the frogs, the land of Mew. We are the woolly, curly hair, big lips, big nose. We are those people. And I was just pointing out just that little one scene in that movie.
They sure are fighting hard to keep their children from knowing who we are. with that critical race theory crap.
Even the hackers.
To even label it something like that, critical race theory, is an insult.
Mm-hmm.
That's our true history.
They they want us destroyed, but that's not gonna happen.
No, because if they destroy us, they destroy themselves.
I'm trying to get this part what he says, but I put the okay. You're gonna start from 39 minutes in the movie. I'll link the. Who? Play one real quick. I get all stuff ready. Yeah, go now.
No. I would like to take the time to say to all the tribe members, masculine and feminine energies that have their seeds, their children around them within this right now. I've taken the time to say that for Noble, so sister as well. So all of us. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. This is what it's about ultimately, overall, for our future seeds. So I would like to say that it's beautiful. Regardless, it's not an interruption. It's life, it's essence, and that's who we are. Ashe.
Ashe.
Say what?
So I linked it. I put it in the chat, and you can start from 39 minutes into the film. It's called The Trackers. It's an hour and 13 minute and 56 seconds movie, but scroll to 39 minutes and just let it play. And you can hear from himself how he described this so-called black man or whatever you want to call it. And I just find it kind of funny. It's like if Hollywood know who we are in all these older movies, how come how it's like how did we get away from what our ancestors told us who we are to become what they want us to be now? To remain dead, docile, stupid, the whole 9 yards. So we listen to them more than we listen to our ancestors. Even when I try to correct people and say, you're not this, what color is your skin? It's like pennies, copper. And I asked one guy at the airport when I was traveling, I said, hey, let me ask you a question. I said, what color are you? And he immediately said black. I said, you're black? He said, oh, no, I'm brown. I said, thank you. I said, what color is your skin? Brown. I said, why did you call yourself black? He shook his shoulders. He said, I don't know. I said, you see that? That broadcasting, that spell?
Islam is.
We're not black. Your skin is like copper pennies. We are the American 1828 definition of the word American, Webster's Dictionary. You might not be able to find it because even they like to take stuff down after a while. And they tell you the copper color natives who were found here by quote unquote Europeans, copper color natives, copper color natives. There's more than one variation of copper color out here. Different shades of brown. Notice how everybody is a different shade of brown. No brown is the same. Why is that? Even twins identical twins don't look like identical twins. There's always something very minute that's going to set them apart from actually being 100%. From skin color to weight to head shape, something is going to be off. So nothing is ever the same. Everything is a various shades, various from the lightest of browns to the indigos of browns. You know, I tell people take pennies and put them to your arm. They hate what they can't, what they don't understand. You want to look like us, be like us, talk like us,
Ignorance is
function like
bliss.
us. Go ahead, bro.
I'm saying ignorance is bliss.
You know,
They
they want to, huh?
That's I just wanted to say they are envious. They don't hate us. They want to be us.
Mm-hmm. It
They
tells you
can.
in the Bible.
What did it say?
It said, "O nation not desired." You know, like you said, they want to be like us in so many ways. They can't figure out that they can't. They're trying to figure out what makes us tick. They're trying to figure out, do we have a soul? They're trying to figure out all these things about us when they're the aliens trying to fit in. Like it's a movie called They Live.
Oh
And it's on
yes,
YouTube.
oh yes, Roddy Piper.
And the brother, I forgot his name. I forgot the brother's name. He played in ATL, Lauren Lundy's pops in the movie ATL by T.I. And he played in I'll put it in a chat just in case somebody wants to look at it. They Live. Check out on YouTube. Make sure I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah, there's special glasses.
And basically, they can see the actual human beings and the aliens.
Those
I'm
aren't
like,
aliens. Those are monstrosities, monsters.
So I'm like, wow. I'm like,
Yeah, I watched that movie when I was 15.
it freaks you out, didn't it? You're like, what the hell? Like, what's going on? Like, he got glasses. He's seen all the aliens, and what they said. I think he spots us. He knows who we are.
Talking about that movie where that man was putting on glasses and taking them off and putting them on and seeing different things.
Yeah, yeah,
that was good.
And they tell you, procreate, watch TV, obey, and a bunch of other stuff. No imagination. I'm like,
they always put the truth in movies.
Of course they would put the truth in movies. They put the Walking Dead, the Terminators, the Matrix. Everything that they've been putting in the movies, it's been happening right under our noses. And everybody think it's just movies. Like, nah, it ain't just movies, bro. This is some real stuff.
They have to tell you. They have to tell you the truth. They have to tell you the truth, so they put it in movies, so that way you cannot blame them for not telling you the truth.
Mm-hmm. Cause they just can't tell you straight up because they want them disappearing for some weird reasons.
Yeah, I can't remember who I was talking to. Somebody was telling me that they had family or something in the military that had access to those glasses, and they were like an infrared technology.
Mm-hmm.
And they could see what was really being said and what was really going on in buildings and stuff like that.
Okay.
Wow, that brought me to mind of the fourth generation binoculars. Whoever has access to that technology, they probably have fifth by now, can see the battles that's going on in outer space or up in space, where where we can't see, these binoculars can penetrate. They were fourth generation. They're probably up to fifth generation now. They cost like 4 or 5,000. Well, they cost back in the day, in the 90s, I would say $4,000. So they may be more now, or maybe less. I don't know. But I was told that people are watching what's going on up there, the battles.
Hmm.
Yeah. Those glasses brought that to my mind.
Those battles affect us down here,
What
literally.
you see in distant places will soon be at your door.
Ooh.
They're warning signs. That's how I'm taking it.
Stack up on food.
Shay, I also heard a few times from a few different sources that there was more technology, quote unquote, on the shuttle to their fake missions to the moon than there is on in our cell phones that we have right now.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
Yeah. Yeah, they're fake missions to the moon. They can't even get to the moon. They can't even get out the atmosphere. What are they talking about?
Right. All the technologies in our hands.
Talking about, I need more money because it's going to take this much to do this mission. But when I go up, I'm going to veer to the right or veer to the left. I just can't go straight because the rainbow, I can't touch the rainbow. I can't touch it, but it's out there. But I got to let you think that's what's going on. And then they have their artiste to draw all the pictures, and none of the pictures match with the last picture that didn't match with the last picture that didn't match with the last picture because they have different artists
Mm-hmm.
to make you think that's what you're looking at. Their technology. Play with your. We already know. We already know. Islam. Oh, I yield more.
That rainbow, you know what that rainbow is, right? Anybody know what the rainbow is?
I don't know what it is.
Well, can I make a guess? Well, it doesn't have anything to do with the Bible.
Possibly.
Spectrum.
Is it I'm going to take a wild guess. Does it have anything to do with the um really, I just had it. A covenant. If I'm
Mm,
wrong, I'm wrong.
it could be a passage in the Bible about that. But you know, the mothership has all the colors around it. If you ever seen the mothership in its full glory, I seen it in Ohio. And I kept saying, this rainbow is following me. And I keep seeing these lights going all around. It scared me so. But yeah, the mothership has a rain. It looks like a rainbow from a distance. But there's all different color lights going around in a circle underneath the mothership.
It's a half mile by a half mile.
Spectrum.
And I thought they was gonna beam me up. I was so scared. Oh, I was so scared. But I called them.
Sure.
Before I was born in Wisconsin, my parents lived out there for about 10 years. And I think it was 2 years before I was born, my mom was had my sister and was taking her home. And right outside our house, there was a UFO that came down and it got low, probably like to where it was like 500 feet above the ground. And it was just hovering over my mom's car to where she could see it. And when she stepped out to look at it closer, it just shot off at a super fast speed and just went back up like it was never there.
Those your relatives.
Sure.
I told y'all they waiting on us to reconnect with them.
Sure.
We fell from glory. We fell from our connection with them. And they trying to get it back.
Ran into them in Missouri at the lake. They were hovering around me. Getting my attention like a summer ago. And then it came back to me when I was in Vegas. And there was a brother at the Airbnb I was staying at. And he identified as Jesus Christ. But when we were sitting out there talking and stuff with all the other people at the Airbnb, he was the only other person that saw what I was talking about in the sky. The Europeans couldn't see it.
They gave me some kind of new stuff.
And there are certain things that the pale two-foot are not supposed to see.
Just a minute. I already told you.
My slippers. Remember my slippers. Give them to me, sister. I don't want to walk to trying to ball glass. Thank you.
What are we doing now?
Reconnecting.
Sure.
Does anybody know where the wheels were built? Anybody?
I don't know.
Where they were built? What place were they built at? It's very significant.
Is it in a large body of water or outside of a large body of water?
Surrounded by a large body of water. It's on an island.
Stonehenge?
No. Nippon, Nippon, Nippon. Now it's now called Japan. Before it was called Japan, it was called Nippon, Nippon. And those wheels were built on the island of Nippon. It's now called Japan. This was the reason why they dropped 2 atomic bombs on that little island. But they didn't destroy the wheels. They killed a lot of people, but they didn't destroy the wheels.
What's the purpose of the wheels?
The purpose of the wheels is to come and get those who are going to be saved when they destroy this realm. It's got 1,500 mini planes connected to it. The mother plane, half mile by half mile. It's got 1,500 smaller wheels connected to it. 1,500. That's a lot. See, they didn't destroy the wheels. They thought they destroyed the wheels, but they didn't. You have an inner earth, you have an outer earth. As above, so below. and you have beings that are down in the bottom of the sea.
I see.
See, everybody thinks it's from other planets, from an outer, out there in space. They're from right here on this planet.
Okay.
Beings right here on this planet. So all these movies that you see that's coming out, that have already came out, and they've been telling the truth and sticking it in our faces all this time, but we've been entertained by it. Entertainment. We've been entertained by the truth.
So when
See?
they talk about Atlantean sunk all of a sudden,
Atlantis sank.
Atlantis sank, right? So if
Yeah.
Atlantis sank, what's under Atlantis?
Okay. And I say this, I'm a Pisces. Now, one thing that I will say is any of their antics, they will always let us know, or anyone know, that when they go outer space or into any foreign land or territory, they search for water first.
Water is life.
I say, I yield.
You know why they closed the Grand Canyon?
No.
Because the truth will be exposed. They can't hide the truth if they open the Grand Canyon. See, they reversed the maps. Everything was in reverse. And when they took over, they reversed everything. Positive became negative, negative became positive. East became west, west became east. North became south, south became north, to cause confusion. So they got us looking to the east. They got us looking to the east over there when you're already in the east over here. They got you looking to so-called, quote unquote, Africa over there when you're already in Africa. You're already at home. You're already at home. This is El Cabulon. This is the Northwest, the extreme West. We didn't have to sail ships to come here. We used to walk across.
I say,
During Pangea, or prior to Pangea. And there's nothing new under the sun. All this technology we have it's nothing. It's been here. We've already had it. It's just coming back around. Computers, all the way from computers to planes to tanks, all this modern technology, these cell phones we have, this is nothing. This is so old. It's not new. It's new to us, but it's not new. Where do you think they get all these ideas from?
I say no, but we're actually behind. We way behind.
Yes, we are way so far behind. I'm gonna say this one thing, then I'll quiet. This
No,
brother
you're good.
this brother who they just killed in what they call Africa, he made a car that would never run out of energy. As soon as you turn it on, it would never run out of energy. In other words, when the wheels spin, it's generating energy, which goes into a battery, and it's also solar power. So when you start this car, it's got solar panels, but it also generates its own energy, which means it's self-sufficient, and it will, once you turn it on, you can never turn it off. They killed this brother for it. Now they're trying to say he never existed, which that's a lie.
Yeah, you stole it.
Remember, they had him on the internet. They had it on the internet, and they had it all over the internet saying this brother just invented this car, and it's self-running. It runs by itself. As soon as you turn it on, you can never turn it off. Next thing you know, he was dead. They killed him. Now they're saying he never existed, but that technology already exists.
Yep.
You can create a car that runs on the sun, but also when it's running off the sun and the wheels are spinning, the wheels can create energy, and you can harness that energy and put it into a battery and save itself. Now, I don't know how to do all this, stuff to put it all together, but I know it works because the concepts are so simple. Why am I talking about this? Because like I was saying, there's nothing new under the sun. Everything we have today and now is so old. How do we know this? You go on the walls of the pyramids, you see planes, tanks, and go on the pyramids of South and Central America, you see people scuba diving. Okay, and this is thousands and thousands and thousands of years old, but they try to hide this stuff. The people who are in charge of the planet are in trouble for hiding all this stuff and for being greedy. And they have no repentance. And
Did
they're
you
going to try
say
to
the
take a
people in
whole lot of
charge
people
of the
with them.
planet, Noble? You
The
said the
people who are
people in
so-called, quote unquote, in charge, who think they're in charge. The powers that be, they're in trouble and they know it. And they want to take a whole lot of people with them. But it ain't going to happen. Not going to happen. I yield.
Well, that's a perfect segue for me. This is the thing. This is one of the most important aspects that the ancestors been instilling in me every day. We are in charge of the planet. We are responsible for what goes on this planet. We have to learn how to govern and control what happens on this planet. This is a part of us coming back into power. And this is what happened when we fell from grace. We were forced to assimilate into a culture and a belief system that was not our own, and they stole our power that we are given as the imperials and the royals of the land. Those with ruling powers from a ruling lineage, they were passed down a certain set of knowledge and books and as inheritance. Okay, but we missed out on all of that. So now that we're getting all this knowledge back, we have to take charge. We can't keep sitting around waiting for somebody else to do our job. We were born as creators, co-creators on this planet, gods and goddesses on this planet. We came from royalty. We came from the imperial first family. So now that we know this, it's time for us to start acting like it. These people already know who we are. That's why when I step out now to do things in the fashion that I've been doing them in, nobody's challenging me. You would think all the challenges I've had before I was even walking in my true imperial shoes, all the challenges I had, right? They was challenging me left and right, putting their hands on me, treating me like less than nothing. Now that they know that I'm awake, see, they knew it all along, but I didn't know it. I can't stress this enough. You have to know who you are. You have to know your capabilities. You have to know that you are here to rule over them, not the other way around. These people that got this whole thing twisted, even the people that work in the government, they supposed to be working for you. They supposed to be bowing down and bending over backwards for you. to take care of and accommodate you for whatever it is you need. Today, that's the furthest thing from the truth. They want to block you. They want to harass you. They want to lock you up for no reason. This is why we do what we do. This is why we bring the energy to change things into the atmosphere. That's our job. You see something happening in your area, put those invocations out to the ancestors and put it in the fire like we've been doing. By fire, by force. It changes things. It changes the atmosphere. Ashe, I yield.
Sure.
Ashe.
Peace and love. Mariah, you back? You good? Everything all right?
Peace and love. Yeah, I'm good.
Text me.
I had to put my phone on the charger,
Oh, okay.
and my daughter had an accident. But they're laying down, they're in bed now.
So how your fires been going? You been seeing good results after your fires you started? Your prayers?
Yeah. I've been seeing, I'll say that they're good results because I've been getting what I've been asking for, but it's still been definitely like the shadow side in my face. Because I've been asking for a lot of energy around my family, my loved ones, my mom, my siblings, and there's been a lot of things that have been shaken up with that. But as soon as I put it in the fire, it's happened.
Can't hear you. You went real low a couple seconds ago.
Oh, as soon as I put it in the fire, it happens real quickly, like it comes to the surface. So it has to be dealt with. It can't just be swept under the rug anymore. And that's what's been happening previously. So that's not happening anymore. So that's it was causing a lot of fuss at first or tension, but now it's clearing up.
Yeah. The fires are for clearing the path. So if there's anything there negative, it's going to clear it out.
It definitely has.
But before it gets better, it's going to pull up all the negative, pulling up the weeds, all the negative energy has to come to the surface, like you were just saying. And it seems like it's chaos, but you can't have change without chaos.
Yeah, that's why I said it's what I've been asking for. You know what I'm saying? It's not anything that I'm running from or anything because I really asked for it. But it's just like, okay, here it is. Now it's time to deal with it.
Yes,
And really
I
see
know
who
the
you're
feeling.
going up against, who you're dealing with.
Yes, I know the feeling. And believe me, every time I ask, oh yeah, Mother, oh yeah, to bring great change. Oh my goodness. Be careful what you ask for.
Yep.
She comes and brings it instantly, and it be all kind of chaos. But in that chaotic moment is the solution. She's pushing you towards that solution. And that's my energy. So whenever I align with her, things happen just like that. It's crazy. So I encourage everyone to find out who they are aligned with, like what energy, who they reincarnated as. Like I did a divination reading for a sister, and the ancestor said that she was an ancient deity. Um, and as I'm doing the reading, she pulls it out. She was like, "Oh, I have her right here on my altar." I said, "Wow, the spirit is real. You can't run from it, and it can't lie." That's why I stay in the spirit realm and things become so clear to you. A lot, and it's like sometimes it's a blessing and a curse because you really don't want to see all of this stuff that be happening in the world. And people around you, you be like, dang, for real? He like that? He went that way? Oh my God. I mean, just show you everything. So it's like, you got to be careful what you ask for because you sure gonna get it when you dealing in the spirit realm. I say, I yield.
Sure. Sure. Well,
For all those that are not talking at the time, please mute yourselves. I yield. Yamel, were you about to say something?
No, man, I'm just sitting here reflecting on everything being said.
Okay, so let me know what is going on. You said good results. You didn't say what passport you was using. I mean, let the audience know. Did you say what passport you used to move with now?
I just been using my tribal card, just the passport travel card. I haven't been taking the red book with me yet, but I plan on using the red book, of course, for if I get drafted for this Cabo Verde league. So
when
Okay.
drafted, and you get drafted.
When you get drafted,
let's say
if that's what you want. I mean, if that's not really what you want, then
no, that's what I want. I want Cabo Verde to be the first visa stamp on that red book.
I'll say.
Gotcha. I'll say.
Drafted.
So that's really a good look, man.
Oh, you got
Because
talking
I've been
about
going
drafted.
hard. I've been going hard about that ID, about our travel documents, standing on our status as far as our empire and as far as our diplomatic relations with other countries. And now that we know that the majority of the countries where anybody want to go is under the empire that I brought back and representing, there's no way they can tell us no.
Yeah, I don't know
So
if
the
you
ancestors set it all up. I can't make this stuff up. Go ahead, Noble.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw my message that I sent you. Me getting into it with Nine Feathers Bay with that Matt D, with that travel document he made.
I seen something, but I just briefly looked at it because I don't give my energy to that, Noble. We know what we have. We know who we are. All of those people over there are agents. Keep telling y'all, don't give them people your energy. Keep your energy right where it needs to be. And that dude, that's probably not even him. It's probably several operators of that account. That's how they do. That's how COINTELPRO operates.
I see.
Yeah.
It's all right to respond, but don't let it get you emotional.
Yeah, nah, never that. It's just the fact that they're just going through putting Morris on the slaughter.
Cause they doing it on purpose. Yeah. they agents. What else would an agent do but hook, line, and sink you?
Bro God, let me say this. When you responded, you said it's just that though our intent and our focus, our purpose is just that we. So a better response, I would say, for you in that situation is not necessarily the focus of what they have going on, more so what you're standing on, what you stand for. That's the difference. I agree with Empress. Not so much focus energy towards what they're stirring, more focused energy to what we stand, what we manifest, what we sustain, the balance. So I do agree with you standing and making that stance on what you stand for, or what's right or what's wrong, and balance and moral and principle. So also be aware of that balance. I say.
Sure.
Ashe, very well said, Noble.
Indeed. Yeah, other than that, yeah, big things to come with these documents.
Oh, we haven't even hit the surface yet. We haven't even hit the ground running with it, really. Everything I do, I put it out there a little bit, test the water, see what's out there that I need to remove, any obstacles come our way. So I'm strategic about everything I do. I don't let these people who don't know what's going on bait me in, because they clueless. They don't have no power. I know who has the power. I know what I'm being led to do. When the time is right, everybody who's supposed to have that passport will have that passport.
Sure.
You see, I'm not really pushing it.
Yeah.
I pulled it off the market. When I first did it, I pulled out the ancestors, said, no, it ain't time yet. And everybody can't have a diplomatic passport.
Right.
You have everybody who is not in a part of our imperial government cannot have a diplomatic passport. They're not doing diplomatic affairs. So I had to slow my roll and make sure I was being guided. And then that's when I brought out the American passport. That's a slightly different shade of maroon or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So all our steps are being ordered. Everything is in divine order. And these people, they know who got the juice. You ain't got to, they just, doing what they do, doing what they've been paid to do. But every day, we removing all obstacles out of our way.
Mm-hmm.
There were so many different entities holding power on the land, and they're still fighting us. They're still fighting us. You got people fighting me for something that's already mine, that's already in my name. But because they took over government and because they have the powers of those, they have power over. Let me just say this. They don't have power, but they have power over those who are under their order. That's where their power comes from. But they don't have power to run the de jure government like I have because of what I resurrected. And now knowing who my lineage truly is. They know they can't fight me. That's why they follow me in the thousands. They got 80,000 Rosicrucians. And then they got all their fraternal orders and their brotherhoods and sisterhoods. The ancestors told me the other day it was 125,000 of them doing sorcery against my son. They started out with 144,000. That was a key number. Okay, that's why when I mentioned before, there's little clues that the ancestors left us in the Bible and in the Quran and different holy texts. They was trying to tell us something, that it was 144. You looking for that 144,000. In hindsight and in retrospect, now I know what that 144,000 means because it just came back to me. So it's very intriguing and interesting, this time of revelation that we're in. And it's definitely revelation because everything is coming out. Everything is being revealed. So this is how they got their power from creating these secret societies and order. So anybody that's in this order, they have levels. So you know about the 33 and the third Freemason. So whoever's at the top of that order, they give orders to all their underlings. So at the top of that order was the Scottish Rite Freemasons, the high up ones, the Scottish Rite Freemasons. I'm not sure if somebody said it was 32nd degree, but I'm not sure. But anyway, whoever's at the top of that tier of that Scottish Rite Freemasonry lodge or order, they give orders to those underneath them. Okay. And all of them are Scottish Rites. And if you notice, there has been nobody in government or in the presidency since the last 100 years they've been running things that was not Scott or had Scottish blood in it or was a Jesuit. That way, whoever's in there, see, they raised them up in our knowledge system and they created their own power base to run alongside our de jure governments. And they put an identical version of our governments right next to our governments in the form of corporations. So they learned all the game they got it from us. All our stuff was already set up. This is why I get so irritated when I watch certain documentaries about the timeline of history and how they discovered this and they discovered that, and to try to and hearing them trying to describe what they think they found or what it is, it's totally off. They don't know what they're talking about. They just came out. This is why the pale man, the Albion that came out the cave, is still in the stage of discovery. Everything they discovering, we already knew. They the ones set us back, trying to figure out why this is like this and why that is like this. And the Anunnaki came and visited this congregation that was outside in 1917. I believe it was South America. It's a place where they join in large numbers every year to come and pay homage or worship. And it was a they sent the message to one young girl. The Anunnaki told her to give this message to your highest commander on the land. She held the message for 34 years, after which she became a nun, thinking that the popes was the highest commander on the land. Gave the message to the popes, which the ancestors confirmed that this was true. This all happened. She gave the message to the popes. And they said, we can't give this message to the people. This will cause too much hysteria. This would make people panic. So the ancestor told me what was in this message that they refused to give the people. The Anunnaki came and told, this was in 1917. Now, the empire fell and the proper rulership fell out of place in 1913. So this was 4 years later. that this message was supposed to be brought out, because the people was worshiping an idol god. They was worshiping something that these, conquerors, Christian crusaders had came in and gave us. So the Anunnaki came and was telling them, this is not who you're supposed to be praying to. You're supposed to be praying to us and the gods on the land. You're not supposed to be praying to, this is not your God. This is not who's going to help you. In other words, it's not really about who's your God. It's about where you're going to get your assistance and your help from. And that ain't it. So I've been watching some of these documentaries, going through them little by little and getting the answers from the ancestors on what is actually true and what's not. Some of them have a lot of truth to them, but it just irritates me to hear them telling our story all the time when they wasn't even thought of. They only been on the planet 600 years, and they talking about stuff, timeline of events that happened hundreds of millions of years ago. They don't even know the timeline. You wasn't even here. That's what pisses me off. So we got to get back to the point where we telling our own story. We are connecting with the same energy that our ruling power ancestors connected with, that gave them the power to rule on the land. That's what we have to get back to. That's where the real power is. And that's what, the Anunnaki keeps coming around, downloading these messages, because we don't know. We lost everything. Literally. So they coming around helping us now, coming back more. They've been doing it the whole time. I'm just realizing it. So yeah. What do y'all think about stuff like that? The Anunnaki visiting us. Do y'all think that's helpful for them to do?
Yes, absolutely.
Of course.
It's necessary.
That's it.
Have any of y'all ever been visited yet by any ships that you can recall?
I have at the lake. Not as close as my mom, but like definitely been visited there in Vegas.
I had a visit from the mothership, broad daylight, Kansas, home base. I was in the wilderness, per se. I was in home territory, though it was a place that I had never been before, and I was out there for a college experience, just like our sister had expressed earlier. When these entities visit you, you're chosen. You don't have that choice, and they give you missions and things to do, instructions. So I will vouch for that. That has happened to me as well. Empress, how you?
No, I haven't had them to come to me and stop, but I have watched them on at least 8 occasions fly overhead, real treetops tall, fly. And this one was silver, like a silver refrigerator, the size of a football field. and I couldn't get nobody but my immediate family. Oh, I got one person to look up. And by that time, the thing was way down the sky, not down the road, but down the sky. And Park Circle in Baltimore City, broad daylight. Wow. In 1996, I was on the way home, just getting off of the highway number 70. And at the foot of 70, one saucer, it looked like two saucer plates together, went down into the wooded area. And I stopped, pulled to the side of the road, and asked my sons to take pictures. Okay. The other times I was working as an operating engineer at Sparrows Point steel plant, and I was waiting for my turn to go into the hole to do my roundup. And while sitting there, like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, there is water, and across the water is a power plant. And at the BG&E power plant was all these dancing lights. And I'm like, wow, I'm getting a visitation right in front of my eyes, and I'm the only one here that can see this. So that happened on like 5 occasions at least. And I was just knowing that I am the chosen because nobody else could see it but me. And I yield with that.
I say what?
No one else, huh?
I've had similar experiences that you were just referring to, AAA. They haven't stopped and like spoke to me directly, right in my face. Well, came down, I should say. They definitely have been right in my face or kind of lingering over my head. I had a situation, and I've noticed it's happened when I'm around Aquarius energy, but also my children have a lot of Aquarius energy in them. But I had a situation or an experience where I was roommates with someone. She was an Aquarius, and I was outside on the balcony one day, and there were 3 ships, and they had like they weren't glaring lights because they weren't, well, they were glaring because they were bright, but they were not flashing. They were just shining. And they were,
I don't give a fuck this damn app. They can get.
and they were just there, and they were in the shape of a pyramid or a triangle, and there were just 3 of them. They stayed there for at least about, I'd say about 5 or 10 minutes, to the point where I was able to like go call everyone in the house, me and my children and her. Everyone's seen it. But I've had experiences like that because I had that as well when I was growing up with my aunt. I used to be at my aunt's house a lot, and going outside at first, it would kind of scare me, you could say, because I didn't realize what it was. But then I just started paying more attention, and I'm just like, well, who's trying to talk to me? Well, what is it? And all this stuff. And I would start asking my aunt questions and stuff. And then I started watching little things and started opening up my eyes a little bit. But I haven't had any actual, at least none that I can recall, but I do have a lot of experiences where I'm not sure if it's my dreams or the reality. Like, it happens like that, where I have to think about it and really double check and like ask some people around me if it happened. Because even prior to all of this coronavirus and things like this happening, I was having dreams about that was happening, or people approaching me about that, or just different people trying to pull me certain ways around that. And then that started happening in real time, but that was probably 5 or 6 years prior to it even happening. And just little things like that, they slowly happen and then they start to click later on, or the situation that happened, it doesn't really make sense in that time, but then later on it makes perfect sense. Like today, when I was just getting out the car and we were just on this call, I got out, and as soon as I turned around and I looked, and I'm just in the parking lot, there was a cat looking at me. It was an all white cat that had orange in it. And I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I know it means something. So I definitely have experiences like that all the time. As far as with the Anunnaki and the ships, not so much, not directly. I've been having a lot of ringing in my ears lately, every day, actually, multiple times a day. So I definitely feel the energy, and I'm really ready. I'm just ready for it.
I'll say, sister, when you speak on colors, not dead colors, I mean vibrant colors, oranges, purples, greens, those natures, that is all spectrum. Again, it kind of references of what Empress was stating earlier as far as the rainbow. That resonates with me because I had a relative before. Um, we both have been having visions, per to say, and those of us have experiences and become woke. It doesn't mean that they're always conscious. So he was woke, though he was still trying to discern what he was seeing or be discerning to what he was seeing. And one of the references he said to me, it sticks with me to this day, is he he was having experiences in real lifetime with like his close relatives, and then also he had woke me up really really early one day, and he was kind of emotional and upset, uh, but he couldn't really express what he was. It was just very overwhelming, is what I was getting from his
Yes,
energy. Exactly. And
I know exactly what you're talking about.
what he said to me verbatim is I'm just seeing in color. I'm just seeing in color, and I just know it's my time. I just know it's my time. So
And what you're seeing and feeling, you can't even put it into words because it's such a different magnitude and realm. It's not even, you can't, it's so hard to bring it even to this realm to explain it, to even try to start breaking it down.
I said, well.
It's definitely time.
Sister Mariah, how long have you've been within the more science, the more studies?
I've only been in it for a couple years, honestly, since I found out well, I won't say I found out. I started dabbling into it a little bit again in 2018. And then 2019 is when I really like got on board. 2018 is when like that started happening with my mom. So I started kind of so she has this child support stuff going on. So I started kind of looking into that, and things started opening up, and I found out like about the straw. Then I started finding out about nationality. So it started playing out, but it was really in 2019 since I've really been in it, since I really took it heads on when they came to my door. And I already knew it, in my heart, my spirit, and my everything. I knew it. But when they brought it to my face, I was just like, there's absolutely no way that I'm backing down, or there's absolutely no way that y'all are going to take this from me. That like, this is not y'all's time anymore.
Ashe.
I dabble into a lot of different things though, as far as, so I look at astrology, etymology, the law, some statues, nature, of course. I'm really getting into anatomy lately and tying that together with everything.
Yeah, anatomy is something I want to get into as well.
Ashe.
And herbs. Yeah, anatomy is definitely, yeah, I think we all need to be looking at that. And the spiritual side as well, I'm always in, or I always try to be in, I should say. When I got in it, I feel like everything was already given to me, or I had all the keys and I just didn't know what locks that they went to. And now I'm like realizing, okay, this goes here. Like it's all organizing now in my head or in my life. It's all making sense. But the whole time I had everything, it was just my cup ran over and I didn't even realize it. I was way overwhelmed, way in over my head and didn't even know it.
Logic aligning. Ashe.
Mhm. Even when I go back now, it's me literally going back to what I already had or what Empress had told me.
Ashe.
Was there any Betty's last Sunday?
I don't think I was on last Sunday.
Or the Sunday before?
The last Betty I remember, and I don't remember her name, but she was talking about how she wanted to look over the site prior to really being vetted because she didn't really feel comfortable. And then we were kind of discussing going forward, we should kind of have some sort of protocol as far as you're going to have some sort of quiz or questions regarding or around the website prior to the vetting session, or that's going to be the first part of the vetting session. So that way they're familiar instead of, or it was mentioned too that we might start vetting maybe twice a month or every 2 to 3 weeks or something along those lines. I don't recall exactly because it's nothing set in stone, but it pretty much got brought up that it needs to be vocalized and brought up prior to the vetting session about the website, because there's been a lot of, oh, they haven't had a chance to look over the website and they're not really sure what's on that website and things along those lines. So they need to become familiar with that prior to. And then we, as a nation, need to come up with, or maybe just put in our heads what type of questions that we're even going to ask around the website.
Mm-hmm.
That's the last one I remember, though. And I don't remember what her name was.
I was thinking about getting some business cards made, so people who are interested, they can, check out the website that's on the card, have, everybody, everybody do their own thing, but, have your appellation, Cherokee Nation Morris, the website, our email, cell phone number, optional, tribal members, Mariah, Canada Bay, whatever, this way, we can do somewhat of our part to get our people to claim their nationalities. Just imagine if 5,000 people change their nationalities. Then another 2,000 change their nationalities. A lot of these businesses will go out of business. Because they're like, you're not this no more. You're L, you're a Bay, you're L Bay, you're Ali, you're a Day. I always figured it to be funny that everybody's not comfortable with something that can help them, but they're comfortable with having the slave names and slave identities, and they're comfortable with that stuff. But you can't tell them nothing until it's too late.
They definitely have to get out of the mindset of that they started with slavery or from off of a ship from Africa. They really have to get out of that.
Yeah, they really do. That whole slavery thing from Africa that's over here doesn't even make sense. It's not even logical.
They'll jump on it and play that victim role and try to they need some sort of reparation or some sort of backlash or revenge or something based upon that. And it's like, that's not even a fact. That's not even the truth. You have to get out of that mindset. You just have to know that this is your birthright and you're entitled to this anyways. You don't want to have somebody giving something to you as if they're higher than you. No.
Mm-hmm.
They have to stop thinking like that. Seriously. We'll get it right though.
Yeah.
It's
We
The
long.
ones
We
that are
need
supposed to.
we shall get it right with these people. You know, like I was explaining earlier, you know, it's gonna be a time where, you know, people gonna be mad and they will feel real bad when they can't claiming their nationalities, you know, or it's gonna be too late for them to do what they need to do when they should have been did it.
Yeah, and I just hope the prideful ones swallow their pride, because some of them are causing so much pain and distance and different things along those lines that they're going to be running back and needing those same people. And they just don't realize it yet. As soon as you tell them that the first slave ship was called Jesus, they really looking at you like you're crazy.
That's hilarious.
They walk around talking about thank you, Jesus, or that's me. Oof. I be having to go recharge. Yeah, we got this thing. Well, I ain't even gonna say we because it don't got nothing to do with me, but I do have an experience with it because I was in that cult for the first 14 years of my life. But down here, well, in Iowa, there's this bishop at this church that I used to go to. My grandma had us going to it, and he's 63. He just got done marrying an 18-year-old girl, a child. And it pretty much got blown up now, to the point where they're about to start investigating it and things along those lines. But pretty much he's been grooming her, and he's like, they have a church school in there. He's the dean over the school. He bought her a car for her graduation present. He used to counsel or meditate between her mom and dad, and now they're divorced. The mom done moved somewhere else, hundreds of miles away, with her other 4 daughters to save them. And the dad done walked the girl down the aisle to this old man who's the son of the bishop or the pastor that used to be over the church when I went to it. This is the same church that didn't even show up when my grandma passed away, and my grandma was there for 30 years. So it's all pretty much coming to the surface, really. And then I guess the same pastor or the same bishop guy was down in Louisiana doing the same thing, and he had 3 separate pedophiles up in his church, and 2 of them was his daughters, and one of them went to prison. And there were girls on there. They got on Clubhouse, and there were about 400 or 500 people on there. They was all talking about it. There was people coming and speaking up from his past church, telling all the business pretty much. So it's all coming out. And there's a lot of people from the church that's speaking up on it too, because they go and marry, people off at 14 and take them to Kansas to go get married, have their parents sign off, bring them back to Iowa married. Don't even know who they are as people. And then the pretense that they base it off of and the way that they manipulate those Bible scriptures, and it's just really sick. It really is. Like, I'm thankful that I got out. And there's a lot of people in it that I see that got out, but there's also people in it that I'm just like, you have to get out. I still have people that I care about to a certain extent in it that I'm just like, you have to get out. There was the guy they tried to marry me off to, he actually ended up committing suicide. And then me and my friend, who they married her off to the guy that committed suicide's friend, she's still married to him. And she does not appear happy, at least to me, just knowing her from being age 5 years old to age 14 years old.
Well,
yeah, it's deep to a certain extent, but yeah, they definitely isolate you. But then that's kind of what you were saying, Clinton, as far as piggybacking off of what you were saying, when you really start, when you tell them who you are, or you just tell them what you're not going to do and what you're not going to stand for, and you start taking money out their pockets, man, they're done. And their attitude will change real quick because they want to stay afloat.
Yeah, attitudes will change.
Yeah, when I was in that church, the pastor, bishop, whoever it was that you want to call over the church at the time, he was more like, you know, they still kind of did the same. I'm not in it, so I don't know exactly what they're doing, but just based on how they're moving on social media, it still appears to be the same stuff. But it's more of a, so the dad or the pastor guy, when I was there, he was more quiet or hush tone with it, and he was more isolated, like, oh, don't talk to nobody that's not in the church, don't talk to nobody outside the church. If they don't wear skirts, don't talk to them, don't have a cell phone, don't wear makeup, blah blah blah, those kind of things. And he was very, you know, isolated and hush tone and things along those lines. Now the pastor that's in there now, he's more like, oh, you all need to get out and get your businesses going in a sense, or start doing your own independent contractor stuff, and then go out and get the business of all these people that y'all done shunned in the past, or y'all done talked about, or y'all done did whatever about. And they're kind of getting the backlash from that in a sense too, because they were also talking about the guy that walked his daughter down the aisle to the old man. I guess his dad got some sort of restaurant for doing it.
Hey, my ride.
Man, I said, and then they're sick. I said, y'all got the pastor over here in a Bentley, and y'all's church members getting on the city bus. But y'all over here talking about I'm disrespectful because I'm stating the obvious.
Them damn cults.
Yeah, definitely. It wasn't until my grandma had passed away when I was 14 that I really seen it. Like, her own son, my uncle David, who lived downstairs my whole childhood, he pretty much took up our whole basement. It was like his own little house down there. But anyways, he lived with us our whole childhood. He was in that church too. He didn't even show up at my grandma's funeral because of that church, or really because of the own choice that he made because of the influence of the church, you know. But little things like that, like when she passed away, the entire, everybody that knew us or connected to that church shunned us for whatever reason. And probably because they already, my grandma, well, they already knew what time it was with me, because I've always been quote unquote rebellious anyways, or I've always spoke up and said something. But
Yeah,
it
like
wasn't until she passed away. No, they never have liked it. They always used to try to change my mind, or tell me I was seeing something that I wasn't seeing, or tell me to stay in a child's place, or tell me to mind my business, or different things along those lines. Like when my grandma passed away, they started doing a whole bunch of stuff. And I was 14 at the time, but I was still aware somewhat of what was going on. But they tried to make it seem like she didn't have a will, or she didn't have a insurance policy. And I'm like, yeah, she did. You know what I'm saying? I used to get her mail. You know, we used to go somewhat over this stuff together, or I would look at her notes and look, I'm in her business. You know what I'm saying? And I'd be like, absolutely not. Like, y'all are not gonna. And it was pretty much like her husband and my aunt that try to run off with things. And it's like, I'm starting to see it now. Like it's starting to make sense now what they did, but I didn't see it then, but I knew that it was off. And just the fact that there were a lot of supposed to be responsible, but there were a lot of adults that were over the situation that didn't really necessarily speak up. I'm like, yeah, I definitely see it now, like why y'all had to like wait for me in a sense, because y'all know that when I know it, I'm going to speak up on it, and it's going to be addressed. It's going to be said. It's going to all be brought to the surface.
He said, "Why you gotta wait for me?"
Pretty much.
Like this should have been taken care of before I can.
That's how I feel, but I see it now. Because that church had my grandma's mind to a certain extent, even though she was still aware of a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? And she always told us the whole thing about Cherokee, Blackfoot, and things along those lines and where she came from and stuff. But she still had a lot of things in that church that was clearly steering the wrong way or just the wrong influence.
My tribe. You know, and the church
I
don't want
definitely feel like her. Oh, go ahead.
No, it's the church don't want you to mess up their money.
They don't. And then they were, now that it's brought up or it kind of went viral as far as that Bishop Mary and that girl, he's 63 and she's 18. There's a lot of quote unquote hidden stories and hidden videos that are coming out behind those church doors. Like there was a video that came out where he was up in the pulpit, that they call it, talking about he was pretty much extorting $100 from 25 people. And he was taking CASHAPP and everything. And I was like, I ain't been to church in a while for real, but I didn't know they was doing all that.
You'll be amazed.
I see. Ish. They ain't got the same amount of attendees. They gotta have the other attendees pay more.
That's why I don't deal with that church nonsense. I'm straight.
For me, it's like I attempt to, and I have, not to say that I deal with it because I don't go or anything like that, but as far as the people, like I attempt to deal with them. But for me, it's like when you're not able to even come down or come out of or whatever and meet me on just like a normal, humane, moral, integrity level and conversation, and like relating it back to something that actually makes sense and that we both can see right here in our face and agree upon, and not some story on however you want to twist it and whatever your pretense and whatever your intention behind it is. When you're not able to do that and you're just so far stuck in your way of thinking or your ideology, I just cut it off, or I just have to walk away at that point, or I'm just like, you're too far gone. And maybe that's me being judgmental, but yeah, it's hard for me to even deal with that mindset sometimes. That's also why I'm studying anatomy, because I'm gonna tie it all into whatever it is that they're talking about. I'm just gonna bring them down to a complete different level, period. Like when they want to talk, like I just mentioned too on my Facebook, well, it was a while ago, but I'm like, well, the first Holy Trinity technically would have been the atoms, which they told you were the devil, the 6 electrons, 6 protons, 6 neutrons that make up melanin, but really carbon, because that's not even on the periodic table. But when it's just little things along those lines and they want to be, so hell-bent or so stuck on whatever their story is, and it's like, okay, can we like talk about what we're made up of or relate to? But when you really start talking about that, I think that that's really going to start tying into kind of what Empress was talking about, with them not even being, us, or being whole, or having the 33 vertebrae or a liver or spleen, or
Exactly. That's
That's when
exactly
they're
what
really
they're
gonna try
afraid
to
of.
beat it. Yeah. Or when we start talking about the different, what they've been doing with this blood or these missing people.
Man, speaking of the blood, do you know these people? My son told me they took all these valves of his blood, but this was after they lured him back after he had left. These people, they got such a big network and a finely tuned machine that they watch him on the cameras. They watch us, everything, little thing we doing. They have somebody in intelligence watching, telling they giving intelligence to their people to manipulate uh what he's saying on the phone. Manipulate. I'm watching this whole thing and I'm thinking to myself, this is what they've been doing all this time. But anyway, they lured him back up to the hospital where and it was some individuals there that wasn't even real doctors that was in there. This how much power these people have. When I say they own the network of people who's under their order, that's what they own. They don't own the facilities. They may not own, the real power, but they have control of a large mass of people or non-human beings, people and non-human beings,
Yeah.
and all these different orders. So they can tell them what to do at any given time. And whatever that order is, they have to follow it. And do y'all remember in the beginning of this whole fake pandemic, it was nurses, a few nurses killed themselves because they probably couldn't take it. They probably wasn't
Yeah.
down with the BS.
And they were there for 20, 30, 40 years, their whole lives, and they couldn't even, I remember that.
Because now we at that point where now they activated. They called out all of their people and told them to activate, complete the master plan. They've been laying there dormant all these years, sleeper cells. So now the plan is activated. So you got them shutting people out of the hospital and different things like that and can't get to their people, which leaves them vulnerable. But I went up in there. They didn't keep me out of there. I went up in there
CASHAPP.
and gave them my papers. Um, but anyway, they kept trying. They kept trying to lure him back in there after they kept discharging. They gave him discharge papers. I had to raise hell, get with the owners, and make them give my son. Hold on one second. Go ahead, y'all. I yield for a second.
Anybody got anything they want to talk about?